Welcome back to another episode of TED Talks Fitness. We're going to continue the Q&A from the last time. Again, not scripted. We're just going to ramble and go in depth to all the nuances of these questions. So we're going to do 3 again. I'll tell you the questions at the beginning this time, and I'll timestamp them in wherever you're listening or watching this. So you can just skip to what sounds interesting to you, whatever. But if you find value in this, I'm going to say this at the beginning of this time, hit the like button, hit subscribe or follow, leave a 5-star review, etc. To support the channel, support the podcast, help more people achieve transformations that make them smile in the mirror. So what we're going to go for in this episode is one from one of my clients. This one says, how do you keep your mindset strong and positive? And then I'm going to lump 3 together because I think they're similar. So this one says, best way for exercise in the week, cardio mixed with weights, ? Best exercises for strength and definition. And then what exercises should you focus on when you have a bad back / bad knees and you want to strengthen them? So those 3 will be lumped together. And then the last one, how to break weight loss plateau, I'm assuming. So those are going to be the 3 questions. Let's hop right into the first one. How do you keep your mindset strong and positive? Super simple. So it's not always strong or positive, right? If anybody that you know in real life or online tells you that they're always positive, they're always happy, they're just fucking lying to you. I don't know why they're lying to you. Maybe they're trying to sell you something, right? They're trying to tell you, oh, I'm always happy, so you should buy this, buy that I sell, so you can be happy always too. Nobody is always happy, and that's like, I'm not religious. If you are so religious that me telling you that, like, I don't believe in God, nothing. If you're so religious that me just sharing that with you, that personal part of myself with you turns you off so much, that's fine. Unfollow me, right? Don't listen to me if that pisses you off so much. But I'm not religious. I don't believe in God, none of that. But one part I do like that I remember from like the Bible or whatever, when I went, because I went to Catholic school, Catholic high school, Catholic college. One thing I remember is you can't see the light without it also being dark, something like that, right? There's also like a Grateful Dead song about it, the light and the dark, right? There has to be bad days. There has to be fucking horrible things in your life for you to appreciate all the good. And I think that's super important, right? So I think I embrace the darkness. I'm fucking Batman. No, but seriously, be grateful for all the things that happen to you, both negative and positive. That might sound super what is it? I don't know, like fucking like I'm a white male, right? That, I don't know, ableist, something. But it's true. But how do I do it? How do I keep my mindset strong and as positive as possible? Because there are several ways I do this. Is number one, I always have several goals I'm working towards, and they're goals that I fucking care about, and I would stand behind. I would die for them. Most of them. Yeah. Right. Like, I want to be able to send my kids to college if they want to go. If they don't want to go, I want to be able to fund the starting of their businesses, etc. Right. I want to be able to provide for them with my wife. Obviously, I don't want to be a sole provider, but I want to be a huge help to that. One of those goals. Another one of my goals, help as many people as I can achieve their fitness goals, right? Help them have goals that when they look in the mirror at the end of their first goal, right? Because I always say you're going to have another goal, is make them smile in the mirror when they're looking at themselves, when they're taking those progress pictures. The first progress pictures they send me, they might not be smiling, but they are smiling by the end of the progress photos. And that just fills my heart with fucking a warm feeling, warm tingly sensation in my chest. So that's another goal I care a lot about. And you're my client, so you're asking me this. That's cool. But another one is having goals is not enough. Having those long-term goals, they're great, but they're not enough, right? So what you need is short-term goals for your every fucking day-to-day life, right? One of those things that you hear people say sometimes is keep busy or stay busy. And I don't think that's 100% true, because if you're always busy, you're going to burn out and you're going to feel like shit at some point. And you're never going to have time for yourself, never time to relax, never have time to like read a book, watch a movie, or just go lay in the grass and stare at the sun, not the sun, the stars in the summer, right? Something like that. But staying busy helps a lot, right? Having goals, like I keep a notepad on my desk, just a legal pad that you can buy off Amazon, super cheap. And I write down 3 to 5 goals every single day. And I get most of those done every single day. Some days I have shit days like you will have, and I don't get all of them done. But most of the days I get that shit done. I also, sitting behind me at my desk, you can't see it, but yeah, you can. If you're on YouTube or Spotify, you saw that. But it's a calendar. And on the days where I hit my calories, where I do all the work I need to do, I do a green check, right? Days I don't, I do a red X. You could use this for whatever you want, right? We have different jobs, but if you're watching this, you're probably into fitness. So if you have fitness goals, use that for fitness. That will help a ton. So those are 2 ways that really help me, right? Those really help me stay on track, stay chasing my goals, helping me feel fulfilled in life, because I'm both building myself up, building my business up, as well as making society and the world a better place by helping other people every single day of my life. And that really makes me feel fulfilled. The last thing is, like 2 years ago, I think I stumbled upon a Ryan Holiday video on YouTube. He's big into stoicism, and if I just said like 5 minutes, I don't know how long this has been, but like 4 minutes, 5 minutes ago, I said I'm not religious, I don't believe in God. I really like philosophy, and one of the philosophies I really love is stoicism. And a huge misconception about stoicism is you're supposed to be like, my background, you can't see it, it's I made it, but it's like there's some statues, there's some words, there's some values, there's some virtues, and I really like it. But one of the misconceptions is you're supposed to be emotionless like a statue, right? When people use stoic in a sentence in everyday life, they're using it to be emotionless, right? I'll give you an example. Be stoic with the scale, right? With your scale weight, when you're looking at the scale data, be stoic with it, emotionless. That's one of the reasons you could be misconstrued about what stoicism is. What I really love about it is it really gives you all the power, right? If you've ever heard that quote in Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility, right? Another big influence in my life, Mark Manson, the Everybody's Fucked book, I think it's called, or The Subtle Art of Never Not Giving a Fuck, right? One of his things in that book is a sentence in that book, flip that Spider-Man quote around, right? And make it, with great responsibility comes great power, right? Taking extreme responsibility for everything that happens to your life, both good and bad, stuff you can't control, taking responsibility for it gives you all the fucking power to change it. And I really believe in that. Obviously, cancer, there's stuff that doesn't make sense. I'm not talking to you. If you have cancer, it's not your fault. Don't take responsibility. Well, take responsibility for it if you want to change it, right? But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about, you have fat you want to lose. You want to build muscle. You want to start a business. You want to do X, Y, and Z in your life. You have all the fucking power in the world to just grind and go do it and learn, or hire someone to teach you, etc. And I really love that. And that's something that's greatly helped me in my life. And I've gotten a couple tattoos to give me daily reminders, right? My skeleton tattoo on my arm is a reminder of this saying in Stoicism called memento mori, or remember that one day you will die, and let that dictate what you do, say, and think, right? So here's an example. Let's say I'm doing my daily checklist, right? I have 3 to 5 items that I have to get done. Everything else is extra. Let's say I've got 2 of those checked out, and I get a little fucking voice in my brain that says, go watch the new Dahmer series on Netflix, Ted. Come on. Fuck your to-do list. Go watch that Dahmer series, bro. And maybe some days you do it. Who cares? But if every time that voice comes into your head and you fucking do it, you are being a bitch, straight up, right? I'm not being rude there. You know you're being a bitch. If every time a voice comes into your head telling you to quit your goals and put your goals aside so you can go watch Netflix or go do something else that's instant dopamine, you're being a bitch, because you're telling your future self to fuck off. And that is not good long term. So that's one of the reasons I got that tattoo. And that's another virtue that helps me every day. Another one I got is amor fati. That's on my shin. That means to love fate. And I really like this whole virtue idea, whatever, because I don't believe in fate whatsoever, right? I believe that you create your own fate, you create your own destiny, but through your daily actions, right? Monthly, etc. But what I like about this whole tattoo and the virtue, I'm getting caught up in the tattoos, the virtue of amor fati, how this can help you too, is it's to love everything that happens to you, and it's in your control to where you take it, right? So the example is a blazing fire burns and grows brighter with everything thrown in it, right? So take that with your life, right? You get a fucking flat tire when you have a ton of work to do. I don't know, like I'm saying I don't know because my girlfriend just walked in. I'm laughing. She closed the door though. She can come in, doesn't matter. But it's too blurry to see her, even if she walked in. But let's say you get a flat tire, right? It's your choice if you want to get upset and like cry about it and let it ruin your whole fucking day, or just maybe your partner had a horrible day at work and they're being a little bit rude to you after work. Maybe you can look at that and be a little bit more empathetic and be like, oh, I've been there. I know she must have a shit day. I could either say, hey, stop being fucking rude to me. I don't treat me like this. I don't deserve this. Or you could be a little bit more nice and maybe make her something that she likes, or him that he likes, or whatever, right? It's just taking control of your life, being a little bit less emotionless. Yes, there's a part of that. But I like to say taking control of your emotions, taking control of your reactions, and being more proactive and taking a second to think, right? Have you ever been, I'm sure, I don't know, if you're anything like me as a kid, you can remember your parents telling you to take a second before you think because you were always getting in trouble. That really pays off, even especially as an adult, right? You get a lot more leeway as a kid, but as an adult, taking a second to think before you talk, or taking a second to think before you act is huge, I think. So stoicism is definitely a way. What was the question again? Is a way I keep a strong and positive mindset, man. 100%. Stoicism, the philosophy of stoicism. I couldn't be authentic with you right now if I didn't shout out that whole philosophy, reading books from Mark Manson, Ryan Holiday. And I want to introduce Fight Club real quick, because one thing from Fight Club, a quote that I had on my college room, I printed out a quote from the movie on computer paper and put it on my wall with like clear tape, right? Regular tape. It said, masturbation or self-improvement is masturbation. And that's something that's always been a huge influence in my life too, because it's so fucking important. It's a funny quote, but once you understand it, it can change your life. I'm not going to say it is because that's not real, but it can change your life, right? So listening to this fucking podcast, or watching this podcast, if you're still watching after me 13 minutes rambling about my tattoos and philosophy, and reading books like I just described, Mark Manson, Ryan Holiday, learning anything and constantly learning these self-help books or any sort of improvement, just learning. If you're only always learning and doing nothing, you're just masturbating, right? And if you want to start having sex and fucking, you got to start taking action, right? So you have to take action on what you learn after you learn it to yield the results, yield what you want out of the literature, out of whatever you're listening to or reading. So those are some ways I keep a strong and positive mindset. And another one is, on your shit days, accept them, right? You're going to have horrible days. Horrible shit's going to happen to you throughout your life. Just deal with it. Just deal with it. Yeah. And talk to someone if you need to. I've gone to therapy before for like 6-7 months. It was super helpful. But to be completely honest, stoicism was more helpful, to be honest. Reading about stoicism was way more helpful. But that's not to say therapy can't be helpful for you. I think that's going to call it on that question. Let me just think one more time. Anything else that helps? Oh, I bring this up all the time, but having a sleep schedule, man. Having a regimented sleep schedule and sticking to it is super helpful, right? I mean, I just feel like shit when I don't get good sleep, and it's hard to be positive and do anything that's productive for your life at all the next day. So let's move on to the next question. Quick break from the show to talk about our sponsor of the show, which is Transparent Labs. And I work with them for two main reasons. They're third-party tested, so all of the stuff that's on the ingredient label is third-party tested, then made visible to you on their website. And I don't care about this, but they put no artificial dyes, sweeteners, or preservatives in their stuff. I don't really care about that, but a lot of people do, so that's another reason I'm working with them. And lastly, no prop blends. So a lot of companies don't do third-party testing, but also they use prop blends, which means they can put a bunch of bullshit in their product to inflate the real stuff that's in there. So if you're looking for a science-backed supplement company to buy from, Transparent Labs, code TED to save. Let's get back to the show. Best Best way for exercise in the week, cardio mixed with weights, question mark. Best exercises for strength and definition, best exercises for bad back and knees. So this is super simple. Cardio. You do not need to do any cardio at all. However, I would do at least like bare minimum 30 minutes, bare minimum 20 minutes of walking a day, every single day, right? I mean, most people, if you're like me, you got a desk job. You're sitting down all day. You need to get movement in daily, and you can't weight train every day and it be healthy. You need to get some movement in daily. So 20 minutes of walking daily is the minimum. But best way to mix that with your weight training is to do it right before or right after. However, if your cardio is more intense or longer than 20 minutes, I would bring a protein shake to the gym so you could have it after or before your lift. Anabolic window is not a real thing, but if you wanted to optimize things, you wouldn't be doing your weight training or your cardio. I mean, your weight training and your cardio together. Now, next part of that question, best exercises for strength and definition and bad back and knee. So the best exercises overall is going to be a hip hinge. So actually, let's start from the upper body and go to lower. Okay, so exercise number 1 is you're going to want a horizontal push and a horizontal pull. So horizontal push would be a chest press machine or a dumbbell bench or a barbell bench, right? And then a horizontal pull would be like a row where you're on a cable machine rowing to your chest, right? Or let's say you're doing a dumbbell row on the bench. That's also a horizontal pull. And then you want a vertical pull and a vertical push. So a vertical pull would be a pull-up or a lat pull-down. A vertical push would be like a dumbbell shoulder press or a dumbbell incline bench press if it's a steep incline, or a military press with a barbell. Then you're going to want you're getting to the lower body now. Now you're going to want a hip hinge. So like an RDL or a hip thrust or a glute bridge, right? And then you're going to want some type of squat pattern with both of your legs, right? So regular barbell squat, goblet squat, hack squat, any type of squat. If it has squat in it, we're talking about it. And then you're going to want a unilateral squat too. So a Bulgarian split squat, either quad or glute bias, doesn't matter. And that's typically it. You could do dumbbell walking lunges. You could do reverse lunges. You could do anything where it's using one leg at a time. Just like how we're doing one leg at a time here, you could also do that with the previous mentioned upper body workouts, but it's not as important in my opinion. It's still important, but this is just the bare bones of a workout program to be effective. You're going to want all of these movements, right? For example, take what I said so far. I'm looking at the questions, by the way. Take what I said so far and make that your standard program. And then after 3 months of doing that, add some unilateral vertical pushes, vertical pulls, horizontal pushes, horizontal pulls, right? But let's move on to the last bit, I think is, what did I say so far? Squat, hip hinge I did unilateral squat. I think that's about it. If I'm forgetting something, I'll leave it in the comments of the YouTube video or something, whatever. But bad back and bad knees, man. The most important thing that if you're not working with like a physical therapist right now, I would get on that ASAP, right? One misconception about personal trainers and nutrition coaches like me, like that's my job title, is I'm not a physical therapist, right? And any personal trainer that tells you that they are, maybe they are both. But anyone that doesn't state it in their bio that they're also a physical therapist, right? They're probably, they don't have a good sense of self, right? Because personal trainers are not only allowed, but they're also generally not educated on giving the best rehabilitation advice. However, one thing I can say to you, and this is backed by science, is that working on your back and knees, right? That's what you said was bad. So not your knees. Your knees aren't a muscle, but working on the muscles around there, right? And doing exercises with your knees over toes. So follow knees over toes guy on TikTok if you've never seen him before, is going to help, right? So doing a lot of back movements, a lot of back exercises, and maybe having like 3 back workouts a week, right? You could do that for 3 months and then go back to a traditional 2 times a week of hitting your back, right? Strengthening your back, strengthening your leg muscles are going to help more with your pain and reducing your pain. And again, my tip to you, go to a physical therapist and spend money. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I had sciatica in my freshman year of college while playing D1 rugby, and it was the most painful thing in my life. Just waking up, like going to sleep hurt. You had to go to sleep in pain. It's really weird that you could go to sleep like that, but you just become numb to it. And walking was like someone was just taking a knife and just stabbing me in my ass the whole time. But I went to a physical therapist, and within 6 months, I was good. So go to a physical therapist, listen to everything they say, just like you would if you hired a personal trainer, and you will get results that you signed up for. Now, last question I think I said was how to break a weight loss plateau. All right, this is amazing. So first things first, we need to get some things in order here. Are you in a weight loss plateau? And to know that, you need to know several things first. Not several, that might be a little much. A few things first. Number one, are you tracking all of your food and all of the drinks with calories that you consume on a food scale and food diary? If you're not doing that, you're not in a weight loss plateau. You're just not optimizing your weight loss transformation because you're not accurately accounting for all of the calories you're eating, right? When you, I don't know, let's say when you put money into your Roth IRA or your 401k, do you just guess? Like, I don't know, do you just whisper to if you do it yourself, do you just like close your eyes and plug in how much money you're going to put into it? Or do you do you put $500 into it each month, etc., right? You probably put $500 or X dollars into it every single month, or X dollars a year into it every single year. So the same thing, you want to be doing it with your nutrition if you're serious about this. If you're not serious with this, you're not listening to this podcast 23 minutes in. If you're serious, you want to be tracking everything you eat and drink on a food scale. You want to get the best results possible so you can stop having to lose weight, right? Losing weight's not fucking fun. No one likes doing it. No one likes eating less calories than it takes to maintain their weight. So you want to do this as fast as possible. You're going to want to track everything you eat and drink on a food scale. That's number one. Number two, you need to be tracking your weight averages, okay? Most people don't do this, but this little step, this little bit of more work each week, it's probably 1 minute of work more each week. 1 minute, maybe, if that. It's just taking the averages of your weigh-ins each week. You can do it in Excel. You can do it on paper. You can do it anywhere, right? You just add up all of your weigh-ins each week. So let's say you had 7 weigh-ins this week. Now, that's not really always realistic. Let's say you had 5. Let's say you had 5 weigh-ins this week. You add up all 5, divide by 5, and that's your average for this week, right? Do that again next week. Do that the week, and you compare that week to week. You compare your weekly average to each other. That way, you have an accurate representation of which way your weight is trending, and you're no longer tracking you're no longer comparing the day-to-day weigh-ins, because those are going to fluctuate depending on sodium, carbs, your constipation, whether you've taken a poop in the last 2 to 3 days. If you're a woman and you're bleeding, right? The week before, the week of, or the week after, your weight is going to increase one of those weeks. Not always. It's not all 3, but it's always one of those, right? What did I say? Salt, carbs, poop, period. Stress. If you are undersleeping, if you had a hard weight training session, if you had a hard cardio session, if you're just stressed from life, cortisol is going to go up, leading to more water retention, leading to the scale going up, right? All these things are going to affect your day-to-day weigh-ins. So taking the weekly averages is so crucial to taking some emotion out of your transformation, and you could be more critical, more analytical, more logical about this whole thing, right? And you can actually know if you're in a plateau or not. A weight loss plateau, is when your weekly averages are the same or within a half a pound in 2 weeks. All right. So that's 2 data points in a row being almost the same. Once you have that down, right? Let's say you are tracking your calories on a food scale and you're being accurate. You're being meticulous with that. And let's say you're taking your weekly averages. And now it comes into play consistency. All right. This is the third question. Are you being 80 to 90% consistent every single week? So what does that mean? That means at least 6 days on track of every 7 days. So every week you're on track 6 days. If you're off track for more than 1 day a week, let's say 2, you can just increase calories to break that weight loss plateau rather than decreasing calories. Decreasing calories is the last step. That is the last thing you want to do. If there's ever a time where you can increase consistency, you always want to do that first for sustainability purposes, right? That way you are mitigating the potential binge, right? That's the worst. Then you're stalling out progress. You could do a lot of damage on a binge, not fat gain, but you could definitely stall out a whole fucking week of progress from one single binge. Absolutely. A lot of people say, no, you can't. No, yes, you can. So what are some things that you could do to increase consistency and increase results? Do what I do, and I don't force my clients to do it, but some of them do it, is have a consistency calendar. Please go watch my YouTube video on it. You will never go back to everyday life. You will always have a consistency calendar. I promise you. It's going to help you be more consistent. It'll be like a little video game, and your consistency will go up, and you'll be chasing green checks. I promise you. Just search Ted Shred's consistency calendar on YouTube, and you're set. But now let's say, for example, you are being 80 to 90% consistent. You are hitting your calories, right? And tracking it on a food scale, everything. And you are taking your weekly averages and you're stalled out. How do you break it? Drop calories by 100. GG. That's it. So that's it for this Q&A, right? We're going to keep it to 3 questions. I think I lumped 3 in pretty well. If you have any questions to submit to me, please actually email them to me, because my DMs on Instagram are absolutely flooded, man. And I need to go through those someday soon. I hope. There's like over 100 and it's super stressful. So please do not DM me questions for the podcast. You can DM me other stuff all day long. I don't care. I'll answer it with a voice memo, as I'm sure you know if you've DM'd me before. But if you have podcast questions, please email me with podcast question in the description or a subject line. I'll be sure to answer you one-on-one, as well as bring it here on the podcast for a nice, long, nuanced answer like we've given to these 3. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, thank you for watching and listening if you made it this far, first of all. But if you enjoyed it, hit like, leave me a comment letting you know, or leave a 5-star review or whatever Spotify is. I know Apple Music is 5-star, letting me know that you did enjoy it, and I'll talk to you soon.